Hi, my name is Ashley, and my background is from education to marketing to truck driver recruiting and everything in between. I decided to attend Savvy Coders for the second time because I am a stickler for knowledge. I was pushed into the tech field after having been reminded how much I enjoyed building my company's website several years ago and how learning more HTML and everything that came with it would help me in my present day recruiting efforts through Craigslist posts. Plus, I was already working with analyzing data, being a social media manager. Needless to say, I took the dive, and here I am expanding my coding knowledge even more with data analytics and Python. Unfortunately, I do have to tell the voice behind the initial suggestion, aka my husband, those three dreaded words. You were right. Now, having started my professional career in education, I wanted to center that field around my capstone and not just focus on the United States, but also worldwide. I decided to take a look at the G20, which is the international forum that brings together the world's major economies, which account for 80% of the world GDP, 75% of global trade, and 60% of the population of the planet. From that list, I picked the United States, Turkey, Hungary, Greece, Italy, Finland, Denmark, Czechoslovakia, Estonia, and Portugal under a common statement of teachers are always blamed for student failure. So that poses the question, does the age of the teacher, their hours worked, and what they make affect the graduation rate? I took to the interwebs and decided to focus on the years 2015 to 2019. During this process, I gathered all of my information from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, whose goal is to shape policies that foster prosperity, equality, opportunity, and well-being for all, and in achieving this goal, works on establishing evidence-based international standards and finding solutions to a range of social, economic, and environmental challenges. My raw data was then split into two parts where I ran my sheets through Python and also Jupyter Notebook, taking out columns and rows that were not needed. So let's take a look at this first piece of data, which is teacher age, divided up into categories of 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and 50 plus. We can see that the countries have a large percentage of teachers who are above the age of 50. There is a small percentage of younger teachers across the board, and it goes to show that there is a possibility that Greece, Italy, and Portugal could be facing natural attrition fairly soon. Now, taking a look at the average hours that a teacher works over that time, their US ranked first, followed by Hungary and Czechoslovakia. Now, the salary graph down below shows the starting amount and then the top out for high school teachers. And that, like I said, this is just an average, but it shows the US, of course, being at the top, followed again by Denmark, and then we have Portugal. Now down below, we see that Turkey, Greece, Czechoslovakia, Estonia, and Hungary, they are way below that average line, which is demonstrated here in the middle at about 36,000. So there's also a side question that pops up of appreciation. Do these countries not value education by chance? Which is another topic for another study. So having taken a look at age, hours worked, and salaries, let's take a look at the graduation rate. Ireland ranks supreme, followed by Italy, and then the United States. One of our problem children, aka a country that has been very low in the former graphs, Turkey, is actually in the middle, but Portugal is down at the bottom. So is Finland and Hungary, Estonia, and Denmark. Now, something that we can see from our 3 points of data as compared to the graduation rate is that age doesn't play much of a factor. Ireland, Italy, and the US, which are our top 3, they did work long hours, while Greece and Turkey are low in both hours and salary. So this would leave one still wondering. Given the data, it shows that there isn't 100% connection to it being the fault of the teacher. So there has to be something more, right? This is where I took back to the internet, and through the exact same data source, OECD, I came up with more data points that are outside factors that would influence the graduation rate. Out of all the countries studied, there is a surprising percentage of homes still without running water, which is this graph here on the left. For example, Turkey is at 8%, followed by Estonia at 7%, and Hungary at 4.7%. There is even a little bitty 0.1% of US homes that that do not have running water. This plays a big role in the life of a student because if there is no running water, then students can't shower properly, which means health declines and they come to school not being prepared. When it comes to the net disposable income over here on our right, those countries with low amounts could be stressed, therefore families may not put a huge push for an education and more to go out and get a job to support their family. If that's the case, then there is a large possibility that the student might not show up for class or be tired, which means they won't pay attention and their success rate would be low. Next set of outlying factors would be a health survey. This was given to people starting at the age of 15 of how good they believe their health to be. Taking a look at the top, the United States would be first, followed by Ireland and then Greece. Excuse me one moment. Denmark and then Italy. Now it's interesting to see that 70% of the people in Turkey believed their health to be satisfactory, which is interesting since they have the highest rate of houses with no running water. So with this entire survey, the percentages show that there is a high possibility that if the student is not healthy, of course, then school days are going to be missed or they'll come to class and not be paying much attention due to other issues and then have their performance being low. Now, in a life satisfaction survey, people were asked how satisfied they were with life in general. And this is for starting at 15 years of age, going all the way up. And it would also include how they felt about friends, family, work, school, etc. Surprisingly, Denmark is the ranked first on a scale from 1 to 10. They were at a 7.6. And then Finland would be next at 7.6 as well. Ireland is at a 7, and then the US comes in at number 4 at a 6.9. Turkey, Hungary, Greece, and Portugal, over here at the bottom, are all at a 5.5, a 5.4, and then again a 5.4, which seems to be a common trend throughout this entire study. So, bringing in these 4 factors into consideration to our graduation rate, you can see that there is a definite trend in what is best described as a snowball effect. Because if there's no running water, then the students can't shower, which means health goes down and the performance rate goes down. If they are stressed to find work instead of go to school, then they might not show up, or they will, but their performance rate will be down because they're tired, etc. If their health isn't in the best way, whether it be if they live in a house without running water or whatnot, you see kind of like a trend. It just kind of all continues to fall downhill, and one factor is going to end up affecting others. So Ireland, taking a look here, is our winner, of course, and they have a high health rate, which means more students show up. The US has a low satisfaction rate, which could contribute to why they are lower on the graph for graduating. Turkey, Hungary, and Greece are very low across the board, which is why their graduation rate is obviously low. Denmark would kind of be deemed as our outlier, because even though they are presented as happy and go lucky and in good health, their graduation rate is still substantially low over that period of time at basically a 42%. So given the consideration to the additional 4 factors against our initial 3 factors, it does go to show that it is not always the teacher's fault for student failure. There are so many different factors that should be taken into consideration as to why a student graduates or not. Now, in closing, I would love to continue this study by taking a look at test scores. For example, the PISA test, which the OECD gives to 15-year-olds to gauge their science, reading, and math abilities, because and the reason why is because some of our top performing countries that we've discussed in this presentation actually fall in the middle category for scoring, and some even fall underneath the below average. I would also like to take a look at the amount of vacation days between the countries, because I've learned over the years that the US amount of holidays is very small compared to other countries. Another road I would like to take this study down would be to break out each year that I studied with a range to show how much the data had changed over that 5-year period. But unfortunately, due to time constraints, I could just go based off an average of that amount. I would like to thank Savvy and LETC for giving me the opportunity to take this cohort. Without you guys, neither this full stack cohort or this one would have probably ever happened. Thank you.